from the studios of Rstv in Port Harcourt. My name is Solomon Nelson Brett. This program is watched only on GoTV channel 142 and Start Time channel 113. You can also join us on our social media handles such as YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. These are the platforms with which you can follow this program as we make progress. Today again, we're going to still talk about local government administration, and this time around, the one local government that is the face of River State, that is Port Harcourt City local government area. And of course, we all know why the local government is being established to bring governance closer to the people in the localities. And of course, not just closer, delivering the dividends of democracy to the people. And that's why local government is essentially created. Joining me on this all-important interview is Dr. Sam Kalabo, is the administrator of Port Harcourt City local government area. Administrator, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Before I start, let me first congratulate you on a well-deserved appointment. You were in the academia, now you are managing a political office. How do you reconcile the two?
Essentially, you don't have significant differences between managing a tertiary institution and managing a local government. All fall within the context of administration. So the principles are universal. They are applicable to tertiary institutions. They are also applicable to local government, even though the targets and audience differ.
Okay, so could you share your philosophy with us? What's your philosophy like in life? Let's build upon that.
Generally I believe that whatever opportunity that you have in your private capacity or public capacity, you should be able to put smiles on the faces of people. Humanism is a guiding principle for me, and I sincerely believe that the opportunity that I have to administer a premier local government like Port Harcourt City local government will also afford me the opportunity to respond to the needs of the people and residents of Port Harcourt City local government.
All right, so taking a cue from your philosophy, how would you describe the declaration of state of emergency in River State, of which you are one of the beneficiaries?
It is subject to multiple interpretations, and considering the fact that I'm a lawyer, that matter is sub judice, is before the court, so I wouldn't like to comment on it. However, I'd like to clearly state that nature abhors vacuum, and essentially the purpose of the declaration is to maintain peace, to ensure that lives and property of the people of River State, and in our context, the people and residents of Port Harcourt are protected, and to also put in place the necessary machinery for restoration of democratic governance in River State.
So which of these best describes you as a person? A Democrat, a conservativist, a liberal, a neoliberal, a capitalist, an opportunist?
I'm a technocrat.
I didn't have it in my options.
I have provided.
Interesting. All right. When you say you're a technocrat, could you throw a little light on it?
My academic, managerial, and administrative experience, qualification, and exposure confer on me the relevant skills to be able to not only understand and analyze socio-economic and political issues and challenges of society, but to be able to also provide solutions to those challenges and issues in society. And in our context, by virtue of the position which I presently occupy. It is expected that I should bring my wealth of experience, exposure to bear in the discharge of the responsibilities that have been placed on my shoulders, so that the dividend of governance will get to people at the grassroots level.
How are you coping with the management of wastes in Port Harcourt?
What many persons don't know or don't realize is that Port Harcourt City local government is doing a lot to keep Port Harcourt clean. There are service providers whose services we have engaged, and we spend a lot of money to ensure that they sweep the roads. I'm sure that a clear example, if you drive through a bar road up to Government House, beyond to the Borokri areas, you will see that the place is clean. It is not by happenstance. There are people who we engage, who sweep the roads, who also dispose of refuse. We also have service providers who cut the lawns in the old GRO area, virtually every area within the Port Harcourt.
What about the ones generated, those wastes generated by the market people? It's very essential that you talk about it.
It's also part of our responsibility. However, I'd like to say that the River State Sanitation Agency also has some measure of responsibility. There are areas where the agency concentrates, and there are areas where the Port Harcourt City local government deals with.
Administrator, many are of the opinion that whoever that becomes either mayor, administrator, or chairman of Port Harcourt City Council is just made, given that position, to relax, because the state government is taking care of almost everything in the state. What exactly are you doing with the allocation you receive?
Well,
are you keeping them for the rainy day because you have no work to do? State government has taken over everything.
Well, to say that the state government has taken over the responsibility of Port Harcourt City local government and perhaps other local government is not correct. I just had a meeting with the Executive Secretary of River State Primary Health Board on certain issues that relate to health. First, I think that the proper starting point will be to make it clear that there were certain revenue items which the local government was collecting before now. Okay? And some of those revenue items have also been transferred to the state government. The state government has taken over those revenue items. So if you take over assets, you must also take over liability. Beyond that, I have just shared with you some moments ago that there are areas that relate to sanitation and environmental management, which are shared between the River State government and Port Harcourt City local government. The same thing applies to other local government areas. So it's not correct to say that the River State government has taken over the responsibility of the Port Harcourt City local government. Aside from that, if you're asking of what do we do with the revenues that or the allocation that we receive, as far as records are concerned, the Port Harcourt City local government has the highest wage bill out of the 23 local government areas.
Is it as a result of salaries?
Yes, as at the last count, the number of staff in Port Harcourt City local government is about 2,810. Okay, so that's on the wage bill. And I've also been able to tell you responsibilities that we discharge with respect to the environment and sanitation. We support the provision, the healthcare, primary healthcare services. We also support in the areas of education. Upon my assumption of duties, I had the opportunity to go around some of the primary schools to inspect the state of facilities, and we're also working hard to ensure that we attend to the observed areas of need in the primary schools.
When you say you support, do you mean you put up new infrastructure for them, or where there are no desks or something, you provide for them? What do you do? What do you mean by support?
What we have been able, because if you look at some of our primary schools, they actually need some attention. Some have not been maintained over a period, so we intend to provide furniture for the pupils, furniture for staff, teaching and non-teaching staff, some other structural materials. Some of the classrooms are in a bad shape, some with leaking roof and so on. So we need to attend to those needs in order to provide conducive learning environment for pupils in Port Harcourt.
Administrator, your council collects tax from market women. What do you do for them in return for paying taxes to you?
Well, I'm barely 2 months old in office, so I should be concerned with what happens within the period that I'm in office. You also realize that the market needs maintenance. Okay, those markets, some of those markets were built by the state government and handed over to the local government. There are needs in terms of regular maintenance in the markets, and that falls squarely on the shoulders of the local government. We need to ensure that we provide security in the various markets, maintain the facilities so that the place will be conducive, will be healthy for business and commercial transactions.
Administrator, you talked about a recent meeting you held with the Primary Healthcare Management Board Executive Secretary. What's your relationship with the Minister of Education in terms of providing the basic needs for pupils and all of that?
Of course, you know the state of affairs now. All government agencies, departments and ministries, including the local government, work in synergy. So we'll have a very good relationship with the Ministry of Education, where there are needs to interface with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, either for advisory purposes, for counseling, or as the need may arise. We have always gone across to the Permanent Secretary.
It is on record that Rivers State now has the highest HIV prevalence rate in Nigeria now. And when you talk about development, if the health of the people are not taken into serious consideration, then there cannot be development or progress anywhere. What are you doing as an administrator in that regard to ensure that the most vulnerable people are protected from this illness?
Well, that doesn't fall squarely on the shoulders of the local government. We are concerned
that has to do with health of the people.
We are concerned with primary healthcare services. And you realize that by law, the Rivers State Primary Health Management Board deducts certain amount from at source from the allocation to local government. They use that for sundry purposes, in order to provide healthcare services to our people. But as a local government, aside from sensitization and advocacy, we also provide certain level of support to the health officers in charge of the various health centers. Some 1 week ago, I'm sure that you may be aware that a program was flagged off at the state level and in each of the 23 local government areas in River State, including Port Harcourt, where we provided some funds and other support for pregnant women, nursing mothers, facilities, drugs were provided, and other essentials. So that's also our own way of contributing to ensure that health becomes accessible to our people.
So when you took a tour around the LGA, the health facilities, primary health care center and all of that, what was the impression at the end of your tour? And how many primary health care centers do you have in Falga?
We have about 13 primary health centers. Port Harcourt is a bit lucky compared to some other local governments, maybe because of the urban character of the LGA. Virtually all the health centers in Port Harcourt have been renovated by the River State Primary Health Management Board, and other necessities in terms of facilities provided. Where we seem to have some high level of challenge is in the area of primary education. Most of the primary schools need very serious and urgent attention.
All right, we've been talking to Dr. Sam Kalabo. He is the administrator of Port Harcourt State Local Government Area. We'll take a short break, and when we return, he will take us through issues of security as it affects the local government area. Stay with us. Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. If you have just joined us, the program is Stewardship with SNB, and it's on Rstv. You can join us on our social media handles such as YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. We are also on GoTV, channel 142, and Start Times, channel 113. My guest hasn't changed, the sole administrator of Port Harcourt City Local Government Area, Dr. Sam Kalabo. Administrator, once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there were reported cases of cult clashes. The recent case was somewhere at the education bus stop where two cult groups clashed for whatever reasons they know best. Did you try to find out what happened? What is the situation now?
I believe that first, issues of security are not issues that we bring to the public space. There are a number of things that are done behind the scene. I'd like to use this opportunity to commend the various security agencies in Port Harcourt City Local Government for their effort in containing various security issues in the local government. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of even interfacing with the area commander in charge of Port Harcourt Metropolis and the divisional police officer in charge of Azikiwe police station in connection with certain disturbances allegedly involving cult groups within the Dube axis of Port Harcourt. But I can assure you that the security agencies are on top of the matter. Certain arrests, I understand, have been made, and certain security measures have also been put in place to contain further occurrence of such ugly incidents.
Did you try to find out what caused that fight? Chief Security Officer of the LG.
When called groups clash, one basic factor is the struggle for supremacy, territorial expansion, and dominance. Those are issues that usually cause cult clashes among cult groups.
All right, that's about security. I would like to know, you mentioned here that you have been administrator for about 2 months. Am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Can the public know how much you have collected so far, each of the months that passed? How much did you collect as monthly allocation?
Well, I have only collected allocation for 1 month.
Okay.
I will also just collected allocation.
What was the figure in that 1 month?
I cannot give you the exact figure because this thing has to do with funds, so that I'm not misquoted or quoted out of context.
Okay, Administrator, sorry to cut in. So the X fund you have received for this 1 month
Yes.
that you have received so far,
Yes.
sectorally, what did you do with them? Sectorally. Let's look at sector by sector.
First, you are aware that before we came in, the 85,000 Naira minimum wage had not been implemented. On assumption of office, we started paying the 85,000 Naira minimum wage, and that increased the monthly wage bill, which is gargantuan. I had told you of the staff strength of the local government. Now, aside from that, we are also, as a local government, paying arrears of promotion to staff of the local government for 6 months.
Oh, really?
You may also be aware that the health workers all over the state, complained, they protested over certain items that were not included in their package. So we're also paying that. So you realize that you have over 60% of your monthly allocation going into monthly payment of wages of staff members. I've also told you that we have engaged the services of certain service providers on environment, on security. We support health issues and some other incidental expenditure that we will make in the local government. So it's the expenditure items are very large.
Interesting. All right. Oftentimes when people are chosen from the academia to manage political offices, they end up becoming chief executives of that office, maybe in a political era or something. Will you be tempted at any time, now that you have tasted power and money, would you be tempted to vie for a political office in the coming political season?
Well, it is incorrect to say that now that I have tested power. I have tested power. I was rector for 8 years. So if you're talking of access...
That's in the academia.
If you're talking to access to power, access to manage debt fund allocation is not a child's play. So, but that is besides the point. My concentration here is to ensure that we achieve peace, sustainable peace in the local government, to also ensure that we provide services to our people, that the dividends of governance get to our people, and to also assist the sole administrator of River State to put the necessary machinery and mechanism in place for restoration of democratic governance in River State. Those are my preoccupations now, and not to begin to consider whether I need to run for an office or not. Of course, at the moment we are appointed on non-partisan basis. So the presumption is that I'm not even a member of any political party for now.
Interesting. All right, so what would you like to be remembered for when you leave office?
By the time I leave office as administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt City local government, I would like to be remembered for making profound impact, not only the life of staff of the local government, but in Port Harcourt generally. I will become a reference point for future political office holders. People should be able to say that when I had the opportunity of occupying the position of administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt, I did things differently from previous occupants, because people look at things from basically a political point of view. But I approach every issue that I deal with from a panoramic point of view. It is not political considerations that inform my decisions and actions, but the interests, welfare of staff, residents, and people of Port Harcourt City local government.
Okay, what's the most challenging experience you have had since you took office? Because you are performing dual functions, executive functions and legislative functions, because it's an emergency rule. So you more or less taking a unilateral decision in terms of policy actions and all of that. What is most challenging to you within this period you have held this office?
Well, I wouldn't consider anything most challenging because I've held administrative positions in the past.
It's all easy.
Like I told you earlier, to run or manage, administer a tertiary institution is more complex than managing a local government. What I consider to be perhaps very challenging to me is how to allocate available resources to meet the diverse needs of the people and residents of Port Harcourt City local government.
Tell us about your relationship with the staff of the LGA. It's an emergency rule.
I do not think that I'm in a better place to talk about that. But now that you have asked me, we have a very cordial relationship. My administration has a very cordial relationship with the principal officers of the local government and indeed all staff of the local government.
Have you had time to interact with them, to knowing their challenges and all of that?
Yes, a few days after assumption of office, I took an inspection of the facilities in the local government. That afforded me the opportunity to appreciate physically some of the challenges of the staff of the local government, which for me I consider very basic, and providing more furniture for them, conducive work environment. Those are basic things that every administration, and indeed every administration, should do. I also had an interaction with the entire staff of the local government where I addressed them and had useful discussions with them. The executive of National Union of Local Government Employees, Falga chapter, I've also been in constant touch with them. And I can assure you that our relationship is cordial, harmonious, and devoid of any friction.
Interesting. We've been talking to Dr. Sam Kalabo, the sole administrator of Port Harcourt City local government area. And then, Administrator, you want to share with us any other thing you have that we've not asked you here?
Well, I'd like to use this opportunity to thank the administrator of River State, Vice Admiral retired Ibas, for finding me worthy to serve in this capacity as administrator and mayor of Port Harcourt City local government, and to also appeal to the people and residents of Port Harcourt to continue to maintain peace, and given the heterogeneous character of Port Harcourt City local government, we need to work together and to support the government both at the state level and at the local government level, so that together we can make Rivers State in general and Port Harcourt in particular a better place to live and do business.
Are you concerned about the political crisis that rocked Rivers State within this past 6 months or thereabout?
I had made an earlier submission that that matter is sub judice.
No, but as a Rivers son,
I wouldn't want
as a Rivers son, and as the administrator mayor of a local government that is the face of Rivers State, one would have expected that you would have 1 or 2 words to share, in terms of your concern.
Yes, my concern and advice to all the affected parties is that the Bible also provides that there is time and season for everything. The time for war, the time for battle, the time for political struggle, by my own evaluation, are over. This is time for peace. All parties need to come together to achieve reconciliation so that Rivers State can move forward.
Dr. Sam Kalabo, Administrator and Mayor of Port Harcourt, thank you so much for your time with us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. But that's our program. Join us again same time. We shall bring you another guest on a different topic. I am Solomon Nelson Braid. Bye-bye. Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. Hello, good afternoon everyone, and thank you for joining us again on the program Stewardship with SNB on Rstv. This program is watched all over the world on GoTV channel 142 and StarTime channel 111. You can also join us on our social media handles such as YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. Of course, as we stream, you can corroborate with what the administrator of the local government area will say or disavow in the comment section on our social media handles. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid. Today we're going to also take a look at local government administration. This time around we moved to Ogubolo local government area, where the third tier of government is said to be functioning well, and we have also done everything well to see the administrator of that local government area to sample his opinion on how best he has been administering Ogubolo local government area since he assumed office. I'm joined in the conversation by no other person than Mr. Eliel Owokri. He's the administrator of Ogubolo local government area. Honorable Administrator, thank you for joining us on the program.
You're welcome.
All right. We've been going around the 23 local government areas, and your colleagues have been sharing with us their experiences when they assumed office in terms of rejection, resentment. What's the experience like when you assumed office?
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank the Senior Administrator of Rivers State, His Excellency Vice Admiral Retired, for this opportunity. Well, on assumption of office, I will say my case is a happy one, because my people accepted me wholeheartedly. It brought a kind of joy to them that one of their own has been brought to serve them at this difficult time.
Interesting. So let's get down to a proper local government administration. So far, so good. How much have you received as a allocation, and what have you done with it?
I know I've received substantial amount of money, but the records are not currently before me. As soon as I get my hands on them, I will let you know.
Okay.
So far, the one of the charges that was given to us as administrators is to ensure the welfare of our staff. And as an administrator, I have ensured that salaries and allowances of the staff are not withheld. It will surprise you to note that on assumption of office, I think Ogumbolo was the first local government to pay our staff before the end of the month.
Oh, really?
Yes, before the end of the month.
Meaning that there was some money left in the coffers?
There was money. There was money.
Enough to pay staff salaries?
Because the allocation for the month was released early. So as soon as we received the early, we didn't waste time to pay the staff their salary. And another thing I have ensured that I did not fail is to pay every staff that is due their first 28 days. At the assumption of office, so many requests came to my table. And I'm sure that those that are qualified to be paid, we are paid immediately.
Okay.
As a civil servant too, I know what the civil servants want. So I just have to do what I feel is good for my staff, and that I've been doing. Apart from that, we were also charged to ensure that peace is maintained in our various local government. I want to thank the security agencies in my local government, Google local government. They've been up to the task. And we've been working together, complementing each other. As a local government, I ensure that every logistics they need to do their work very effectively, I give to them within available resources. You remember the Commissioner of Police and the service chiefs in the local government
For security meeting?
For security meeting. And you'll be surprised that before they came, a day before they came, as an administrator, I've already called out my people for a stakeholders meeting to try and fill their pulse and to tell them why we have come to the local government, what we have come to do, for them to accept the government, which without even the meeting they have already done. And in that meeting, it was a very fruitful one. Everybody participated, traditional rulers, chiefs, youths, the women. So the comment of the Inspector General and the service chiefs was a kind of complimentary one to what we have done the previous day. Security-wise, I would say Ogumbolo has been one of the most peaceful local government in the state. And in my time, I want to maintain that record.
Okay. Interesting. You talked about the love the staff have for you, the good working relationship you have with your staff of the council. What about Nolgi? How have you been relating with Nolgi in the council?
You know, Nolgi is a principal stakeholder.
Yes.
of the local government. So if as an administrator I want to achieve my goal, I cannot exclude them in my programs. So far, when I said the workers are very happy with me, that includes the whole game, from the leadership to the lead staff. We've been communicating, we meet very often to discuss their challenges. So far it's been very cordial, and they know that as the head of the local government, I have tried within available resources my little best for them.
Okay.
For now, there is no cause for alarm.
What would you consider as your star project?
Just few weeks ago, we started an empowerment program, which is still ongoing, where little stipends is being given to women, youths, and the needy in the society. I'm not looking at the amount, but the joy they have, knowing fully well that at least they are not forgotten in the scheme of things. That gives me a sense of fulfillment.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about health. How much power do you have over rural health workers in terms of disciplining the absentees amongst them?
The issue of health workers, if I will put it, has been a troublesome one.
Really? How? Tell us.
You know, we have the primary health care board,
yes.
that is in charge of the primary health care workers. However, on assumption of office, I found out that most of the health workers feel reluctant coming to work. So I had a meeting with the principal officers, including the MOH, where we discussed not just the health workers, about the discipline of every local government staff. However, some of the excuse some of the staff gave is that when they come to work, they virtually have no working tool like offices to stay.
So are the health centers not equipped? Is that what they're suggesting?
The health centers, if they say the health centers are not well equipped, that may not be the truth. Yes, some of the health centers do not have the necessary equipment, but most of them have. It's just that the monitoring of the staff has not been in existence, if I put it that way.
Okay.
So they come to work as at when they like. So I've charged the principal officers. I've given them directive to do a roster so that they can monitor who comes to work and who doesn't come. And that for whatever reason, those who are absent themselves from work has to face the necessary disciplinary measures, so that will serve as a deterrent to others. So far, the response has been good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's turn to your relationship with staff again. What measures are you using to to ensure that council staff are regular and punctual to work?
Okay. On assumption of office, I gave myself as an example that leave your house early in the morning and that you are coming to work. At the end of the day, you go back to your house. Do you ask yourself, what did you achieve on that particular day? There must be a purpose for you leaving your house. So if you leave your house and come back without achieving anything, then the day is as good as nothing. It's as well as just stay in your house for the day. So I told them, I've charged them severally, before you leave your house to the office, think of why the government gave you that opportunity. It is an opportunity to make a mark, because at the end of your stay, there must be something which you should be remembered for. If at the end of your service years, nobody can know you for anything, then you've not impacted in the local government. Normally we do a prayer meeting every first Monday of the month. Now in that prayer meeting, that is where I normally give them the charge that you must ensure that at the end of the day there is something you are giving to the local government. The local government is not paying you for coming to sit down. The local government is paying you for doing something. Ensure that you do what you are supposed to do at every time. So I want to say my stay so far has brought a kind of turnaround to the attitude of the staff to work. And I want to say I'm really impressed.
Any incentive attached to this attitude to work, improved attitude to work?
Of course. There is, and at the end of the month, when the first Monday of the month, when we are doing the praise and worship session, people are rewarded.
Okay.
For regularly being in the office.
Okay.
Even at that praise and worship session, when you participate actively, you are also rewarded. And I can see that the level of attendance to that session has increased since my assumption. So far it's been, it's been a good story.
Good. Interesting to know that. You also said that security-wise, Ogobodo is peaceful. The question I want to ask you: how do you monitor and categorize security incidents in Ogobodo?
Security.
To be able to have achieved this peaceful atmosphere.
Now, let me give you an instance. On assumption of office, I received a security report concerning kidnappings along our waterways. If I'm not mistaken, before my assumption, we had within February and March, we had about 7 incidents. Because of that, I've empowered the community leaders to restart the vigilantes. But they reported to me that because of the absence of vigilantes, that is why these incidents of petty thief is rampant in the communities.
Okay.
So I've empowered them to start those those vigilantes.
Okay.
And since their resumption, the reports have been very, very minimal.
Very minimal. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be talking with Mr. Eliel Owokri. He's the administrator of Ogumolo local government area. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the administrator will tell us what the Ogumolo people need most from government. Stay with us. Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. Alright, if you have just joined us, the program is Stewardship with SNB on Rstv. This program is on GoTV channel 142 and Start Time channel 113. We are also on Facebook and YouTube at Rstv Online. You can make your comments at the comment section and then either corroborate or disagree with whatever the chairman has said. We'll get to read all those comments when you put them up. Well, we're back again on the second segment. Administrator Owokri, welcome again to the program. Since you took over office and haven't done feasibility studies, what do you think the people of Ogumolo need most, and what have you done to achieve it?
What my people need most is not much. What they want is to feel the presence of government in the local government. They want to see a situation where they can easily walk into any health facility and receive the necessary treatment. They want a situation where they have access to primary and secondary schools. They want a conducive environment for learning. And something they can lay their hands to do for daily living. They actually don't need much. So since the assumption of office, I have tried to meet up with some of their needs. As I speak, we've been able to start rehabilitation of some primary schools. One in Iguama,
Okay.
which will be completed this week.
Okay.
Will be completed this week.
Okay. You started the building yourself?
It's just a rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation,
to renovate. There is one going in Bulo Town School. That rehabilitation is also ongoing. My worry is sometimes the attitude of our people.
Vandalization?
Yes.
Okay.
It will interest you to note that a school that was built by the government, the school has not been put into use, and indigents of the local government will be courageous enough to vandalize every property in that particular school. I almost wept.
I don't know the community security system.
At the degree of vandalism. That was initially I told you the inexistence of or the inactivity of the vigilantes. I think that was the real cause of that vandalism, because the vigilantes.
The inactivity of the vigilante, is it as a result of government's nonchalant attitude to partnering with them? Because I know that if you partner with them, they can do better.
I will say so, because they were not taken care of, so they stopped their activities.
Okay.
They stopped their activities. That was why.
So are you willing to work with them now?
I've started working with them.
Oh, I see.
I started we are working with them. That is why we are having this improved condition in the local government. Apart from that, we are also doing, we did a reticulation, water reticulation in that same Equama.
Okay.
Equama, because you don't expect everybody to come to a particular spot
to fetch water.
To fetch water. So that work has been completed, and the people are making use of it.
Okay.
You can feel the joy in them.
Maybe if you give us opportunity, take us around one of these days. We can go around and see all of that.
Sure, we will. One of these days we will. We are also working on the community surrounding school below. We intend to renovate the senior section. However, we've just started with the clearing of the compound, because it's been the compound has turned to a thick forest beyond the students. So we have cleared the forest, and in the next couple of days, work will start on the school building. All in all.
All right. So, in all of these, what are those challenges that inhibits you from administering the area called Ogubolo local government area?
Ogubolo local government,
Are there challenges confronting you?
Challenges, if you ask me, I would say is funds.
Funds?
Yes, funds.
But you receive a location?
Yes, the amount of work you want to do sometimes is not commensurate with the funds you have. Every community wants a feel of the government, but there is not very possible for you to reach every community at the same time. That's just the.
So which of the communities in Ogubolo is most neglected when you took over office? And what are you doing to bring it back to life?
I wouldn't say, I can't actually mention the most neglected, because to be sincere, I've not been able to visit all the communities for me to say that this is the most neglected. But at least the ones I've been able to visit, I know the level of infrastructural decay.
Okay.
And as a government, as we are charged, we have to put smile on the faces of our people. No matter how small, let them feel government presence at least. And that is what I've been able to do with my team in the local government area.
So assuming that you are asked to give account of the allocation you have received so far, what are the three first things you will tell whoever that is asking you, including this conversation we're having?
Okay, so far with the allocations we have received, the primary thing we have done is to ensure that salaries and allowances of staff are paid as at when due.
Okay.
That we have done, and the staff.
And it takes so much money from.
Of course. And the staff can attest to that. That is why they've been very happy with me since my assumption. Then another thing I can beat my chest on is the empowerment that is ongoing.
Youth empowerment?
Yes, the youth empowerment, not just the youth, the women.
What's the scope of empowerment?
The scope is, you mean in terms of the money?
Yes, what is it? Are they learning skills acquisition? Are you giving them money?
Yes, the skill acquisition is part of the empowerment, though we've not started.
Okay.
what we have started for now is they're giving us stipends to them.
All right.
The second phase is the training, skill acquisition, and empowering of traders, fishermen, and all that group. That is the second phase, which is about to start.
Okay, so do you feel pressured? This question I would have silenced it, but it's just everywhere in town. The imminent return of Governor Fubara. Do you feel pressured that that rumor is around, making the rounds in the social media and of course the traditional media and everywhere?
I don't think I'm pressured. I don't have to feel pressure because I know I was not sent to the local government to stay for 3 years. This is an emergency situation. So I know that one day the political differences will be resolved. So I can only feel pressured if I feel I want to stay more than the days I've been asked to stay. So as far as my mind is not in that mood, I'm not pressured at all.
Interesting. I was going to get worried if you'll be pressured, but you are not. So, will you be aiming at contesting for any political office after now?
For now, there is no plan.
There's no plan.
There is no plan at the moment.
Okay.
But you cannot just close your door.
If you're called upon by your people.
If the clarion call comes.
The usual, my people call me.
I will think about it.
All right.
For now, there is no plan.
Interesting. Let's have a passive message to Ogobolo people. What message do you have for them?
My message to my people is the government of His Excellency Ebogete Abbas has come to bridge the gap. The few times I've had the opportunity to meet with him, is a very nice gentleman and he means well for the state. And I think the people are already feeling his governance. And I want to assure them that let that love for me and my principal not dwindle, because we are here to do what we think is good for them. Let their support continue to increase. River State is our state. All of us in government are in government for the betterment of our people. So my advice to them is to keep the faith, for better things will come.
All right, Mr. Ilian Obokre, Administrator of Ogobolo Local Government Area, I want to thank you so much for your time with us.
Thank you very much.
And we wish you well in your sojourn as Administrator of Ogobolo Local Government Area. We wish you well.
Thank you.
All right, that's it on our program. Join us again same time. We shall bring you another administrator of any of the local government areas when next we meet. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid. Bye for now. Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB.